Hello and welcome everybody, my name is Splattercat and this is the next episode in our Let's Play of Don't Starve, a fantastic game by Cly Entertainment. And as you can see, I've started fiddling around with the wall system. It took me almost 3 days of running around just to get the bare minimum supplies that we needed to build, I think, barely 16 wall sections. It took forever to get enough wood and boards and so forth and rope. But what we're going to do here is we're going to start worrying about making ourselves a tad more secure, because over the last couple days the hound attacks have gotten much worse. So I would feel a lot better if we could kind of pipeline them into our town or into our little kind of palisade, any way that we can kind of limit the amount of them we face at a time, or at least force them to kind of occupy themselves elsewhere. So what you can do is you take your wall segments here and you just place them with your right click, and I'm going to have to break my rule and rotate the camera, unfortunately, because placing the walls can be a little strange at times. And now once you have this basic wall segment down, you can actually take like logs right here and then you right click and they slowly upgrade. But a word of warning, it takes a ton of resources just to upgrade. You can use boards, you can use logs, you can't use rope. It depends on what type of walls you have. If you have the straw walls, you can use sticks, grass, etc. I think you can use twigs to repair these as well. But we're not going to use those right now. So that is all the wall section we have at the moment. So our next plan, and what I wanted to get done today, was kind of destroying the pig village. So let's go to our tool menu here, and we're going to research ourselves a hammer, if we can find some stone. I don't know if stone is in here. Stone is probably in Chester then. Alright, so there it is. And let's make ourselves a nice mallet so we can huff and puff and break their homes down like big beardy jerks. So we have a hammer now. And then we're going to head over to the pig village, and hopefully we can avoid losing a lot of the supplies. The only reason we're breaking down... Oh, I did the wrong thing. That is not what I wanted at all. That is unfortunate. So, let's put all this stuff back into our chest. God, that was not the plan. So it just ejected all of our stuff out of the chest when we clicked it. At least we avoided disaster by having our stuff fly off into the water. I did get a grass field planted up here while we were waiting. In between episodes, basically. It took me 2 or 3 days. I got grass planted. I've kind of lined this entire walkway with trees, and then I've got some twigs over here ready to go. But for now, let's head out to the pig village because we don't have a lot of time. And I hate wasting time, especially in a game where I'm kind of on a limit. So I believe up here at this wormhole was where we needed to go in order to get back to the pig village. And I'm going to kind of play around with some tricks to see if we can avoid having the pigs kind of... It's irritating. Sometimes when you break the pig houses, the pigs are cannibalistic and eat their own skins, which is really one of the primary reasons I'm going over here to bust up their houses in the first place, is just to get some pig skins to start out with. But it would be nice to build some pig huts and relocate them a little bit closer to where I can access them, and as they respawn, we can grab their pig skins, we can grab the boards, we can take the cut stone. Basically, breaking pig houses tends to be generally useful, so we're going to attempt to relocate them as best as possible so that every time a pig respawns, I can knock him off, grab his pig skin, and kind of get a nice little supply of football helmets going and build some pig houses and just generally rearrange the map the way I see fit. Now, I found out that I'm not going to be able to dig up roads anymore. Oh, you little bastard. That's what I was worried about. And I'm going to slaughter this little sucker. I don't care about Hey, come back here. I don't care about Krampus. I'll take you out, buddy. No, come here. Look, I'll bribe you. Look, I'll give you this. And then I'm going to beat you to death with a spear. Well, I guess you don't beat with a spear. Oh, his friend's jumping in. Hold on. You want some too, buddy? You better not hit Chester. I've noticed a strange occurrence in which my enemies seem to focus on Chester because he's much slower than me. And so Chester's been taking a little bit of damage recently. He definitely has not been unscathed. I have no clue how his health comes back, which is a little worrying. It's a strange... I don't really know how to bring Chester back if he dies. I don't even know if you can. That may not be something that's even possible. Bringing Chester back, you may have to find a separate Chester. I don't know if multiple Chesters can spawn, but... See, like, yum. The second he sees pigskin on the ground, he's ready to eat it. I don't know why he's so excited about eating the skins of his fallen brethren, but it is definitely on his radar. So we're going to eat these seeds without cooking them up real fast. And actually, we need to get ourselves evened out. Now, killing pigmen has the unintended side effect of drawing in Krampus, which we may end up dealing with Krampus in the near future because we are causing some property damage here. I don't think destroying the houses triggers Krampus, but I could be wrong. There we go. I gotta get him away from the pigskin. No, stay away, pig. Oh no, he's outdoors. Hold on, let's take care of this guy. Let's give him one of those. Well, we'll pick up these gold nuggets real fast. And I don't know how you know if there's a full moon or not, because these will turn into werepigs if there's a full moon. So I think I'm just going to make tracks and get as far away from them as possible. We got a decent supply of pig skins. We got some boards, which we can either use to upgrade our fencing around our little camp area, or B, we can use it to take care of business building the pig city where we actually want it. So following the road back, we're going to jump back into our wormhole, and hopefully we have time to make it back to town. If we don't, it's going to be, well, I doubt we're going to have time. We may not absolutely make it. So where is this wormhole at? Wormhole, where are you? I ran right past you again. I'm always running past that wormhole. So we're going to jump in the wormhole because I would normally just camp right there and say screw it. However, these spider hives are getting woefully large. And so I've seen several tier 3 hives already. That is no good. That's actually a situation we're going to have to deal with. I may burn them down. I don't know how that situation is going to play out. I don't know whether the warriors are going to come out and try and fight us when I set a campfire up next to it. Hopefully they don't. I would prefer to avoid any mass spider conflict, but it could happen. You never know. Now, Chester, we've got a reasonable supply of logs. We have a sapling left over, strangely enough, and we have the supplies we need to make another bee box, which the bee boxes are turning out to be fantastically useful. Now that honey is edible, it's restoring massive amounts of healing. Well, it does do a reasonable amount of healing, but it does massive amounts of hunger, and it actually seems to restore itself pretty rapidly. I've noticed that the bee boxes have been giving me 6 honey every couple days, maybe, and the honey doesn't really go bad. It stays good for long periods of time, which is exactly what I'm looking for in most of my foods. Now, the seeds are keeping us sated at the moment, but I don't want to use seeds as my long-term food source. So hopefully, as time goes by, we'll be able to wean ourselves off of seeds and jump completely onto honey once I build a second bee box, and we'll just suffice ourselves like a 3-year-old completely on sugar. So tonight's question, let me think of a good question here. This is going to be a simple one. So your favorite film. For me, this is kind of a strange... This is a tough decision for me because there's a lot of films I like. Like, I really, really like the rendition of The Watchmen because The Watchmen is one of my favorite graphic novels of all time. But picking an absolute favorite movie, I think I may have to go with A Mighty Wind, maybe. It's a really tough decision because it's a little bit of an arbitrary decision. I used to work at a movie store, so I watched a lot of films, and I know there's a lot of films out there that are better decisions, but for some reason, whenever I think of movies that I just enjoy watching, like not on a cinema, not on an actual filmmaking level, but on just movies I enjoy watching, for some reason I always think of A Mighty Wind. So that's the one I think I'm going to go with. Throw whatever you like down in the comments. It could literally be anything. Now, that bee box appears to be more or less full, but let's go store some of our tools here. And once we get these stored up, we'll try to decide where we want to put these pig houses. Now, I believe the pig houses spawn a pig every now and again. They spawn... what happened to my boards? Did I put those in Chester? Thank you, Chester. And now that we've got those boards, let's go over here to our science engine. We're going to take a look at our structures. Now, to make our first pig house, it's going to take a reasonable amount of stuff. And I'm not sure how close to my town I want the pigmen, and we're just going to run that bunny off. He's running terrified into the darkness. I think I'll put them on the other side of the road over here. Take a look at my map real fast, just to make sure. Oh no, it dropped the construction. Lovely. Oh no! That appears to be not a bug, but a semi-irritating situation where... Oh no, I think it consumed the materials because we dropped the construction, maybe? Well, the materials still appear to be here. Okay, I guess it just gives you a freebie if that happens. Never mind. I was semi-worried about what was going on. But we'll go ahead and throw the second pig house down here, and there's a gobbler. Damn it, let's go take care of him. At least run him off, because our berry bushes are about to bloom, so we don't want that gobbler eating up all of our resources. And go away. There we go. We'll run you off to the side and pick up some seeds, which we will then eat, just to make sure we're maxed out on our hunger. And I think our next goal should be to get a meat effigy made. Now, I've got a reasonable amount. I've got a decent amount of beard hair stored up, but I don't know if it's enough. Let me take a look at what we need for the meat effigy here. The meat effigy is going to take us 4 steaks, 4 beard hairs, and some boards. So the cooked meat we're going to have to come by. So let's go ahead and let me play around for just a second. It's been a little bit since I've had cooked meat on the menu. And so we're going to talk to Chester here, at least open Chester up. I don't know if that counts or qualifies as a conversation. Now we're going to cook these bad boys up. Okay, so those meats do indeed count. Now, we're definitely tempting Krampus here by killing off this many pigmen, so we're going to have to hold off on being naughty for a little while, especially if we start knocking off pigmen. And he's trying to punch me now. He looks pretty unhappy about this whole situation, but we need more meat for our meat effigy, and we don't have a refrigerator yet. I was hoping we would get 2 more. The pigs should respawn if I understand the mechanic properly, so we'll cook this third meat up. And unfortunately, we can really hope that they spawn, but what I'd like to focus on now is let's take a look at our structures and figure out we need a bird cage. So we're going to need papyrus, seeds, and some other gold. A bird cage is going to be nice because actually, let's just make bird traps. I think making bird traps is going to expedite this a little better. So let me look at bird traps, because what I'm thinking is I need feathers so that I can make sleep darts in case Krampus shows up, because if he shows up and steals my 40 gold, it's going to be a little disappointing. I mean, it won't be too infuriating because I can get it all back, but it will be a bit of a setback. Now, down here you can see that I've got cooked monster meat laying down. That does serve a purpose. Now that there's more and more hounds just showing up, I've decided to just litter my base with monster meat, which seems to keep them running around and more or less entertained as the hounds can be. It keeps them off my back so I can run around making with the stabby stab until they're all gone and taken care of. And it has the bonus of killing off the hounds actually gives me more monster meat, and it's actually pretty rare that they eat the entire monster meat pile before I end up killing them. So let's throw the rest of our stuff in here. We got some stone blocks that we aren't really using. The sticky webbing, I have a plan for the sticky webbing, so you're going to have to stay tuned for that one. The sticky webbing is going to be applied in a hopefully intelligent manner. I hope that my plan actually works. If it doesn't, it's going to be really disappointing because it's a mechanic that I was really excited about testing out. If it doesn't work, I will probably go and cry myself to sleep, but what can you do? So now that we've got our pig houses somewhat relocated, let me take a look down here and see if they've respawned already. I've heard they respawn pretty rapidly. So, piggy buddies, are you back yet? Ah, well, the pigs aren't back, so that leaves me with the next task of doing some basic exploration. Now, I'm thinking the next episode is probably going to be mostly exploration. It took me forever over the last 3 or 4 days of game time to figure out where on the map there was actually a gap where we could head somewhere else. So if you take a look here, I have run around just everywhere, and everything has led to a dead end, except for right here. So I'm thinking this is going to lead up and hook around, because as I was looking off these little kind of areas right here, I was seeing land off in the distance. I'm thinking this is going to hook around, and we still have not been lucky enough to find a beefalo herd. It's a setback, but I've also been rotting food. Now, they've made changes, and I think this was in the last patch, but they made it so that food, once it goes completely bad, turns into rot. This kind of sucks, but it has the added benefit that you can use rotted food to fertilize farm plots, or not farm plots, but, well, you can use it to fertilize farm plots. You can't use it to make them, but you can use it to fertilize your berry bushes, your farm plots, and so forth, so that you don't end up getting yourself into kind of a unfertilized situation. So every single one of these grass patches up here was fertilized with rot. It worked pretty well, and so if hounds don't show up and eat all this, we're going to use that to fertilize things further. And now day 24 is almost up, so let's go ahead and add some fuel to the fire here. And I may actually make this episode a little longer, so what we'll do is we'll wait out the night here, and I'm going to check my bunny traps real fast, make sure we've got a reasonable supply of bunnies, and in the night we're going to make some bird traps, and these traps are about to break. These actually have been really useful. These 2 rabbit holes have been remarkably consistent in supplying me with meat, which means almost every day I can partially feed myself just by killing a couple rabbits. Now, rabbits, I think, are one of the lowest penalty animals you can kill in terms of how angry you make Krampus or how naughty you've been. And I'll eat my rabbit meat real fast, my Hass and Pfeffer. And now that that's down, I'm going to rejuvenate my pile of seeds a little bit. There we are. And so we've got 7 seeds. We don't have a lot of food for adventuring, but I think what I'm going to do is pick my berry bushes clean before we head out on our next day's adventure. So now that that's taken care of, I was going to make some traps. So we're going to go to our survival menu. And we're going to make some bird traps, and I don't think I can get all the way to my chest without Charlie coming and giving us a visit. So let me get a torch out here, because the last thing I want is for Charlie to wreck my plans this early in the game. I died pretty early last time, and I'd like to avoid that situation here. So taking a look through here, we have tons and tons of spider silk. So we've got our spider silk. Let's go back to our engine, and we're going to research bird traps. Now I think... What happened here? Bird trap? There we go. So we'll prototype it. There we are. And there's our prototype bird trap. And I think where I'm going to place that is over here, outside the city walls as they were. And so there's our first bird trap. We don't have a lot of twigs left over, but I think I'm going to make 2 because sleep darts are somewhat expensive from what I remember. Let's see here. Sleep darts. Well, not that expensive. You need paper for them, though. So apparently it's almost like a kind of a spitwad type device. We don't actually... I figured we use... Oh, never mind. That's reeds. For some reason, my eye saw paper right there, and I'm not positive why. We do have some pig skins left over, so I'm going to put a football helmet on, too, as soon as we kind of make daybreak here. Actually, I don't need to do that. Let's go ahead and use our torch. I'm going to run back up here, grab a piggy skin. There we are. And do we have any ropes left? We'll take the ropes. We're going to throw the silk back in there for some rapid-fire, action-packed gameplay. No, not really. But we're going to make ourselves a football helmet. And there we are. We have a football helmet. So we are heavily armored at the moment. We are like the battle tank of Rumble Blankets right now. So we don't have a whole lot to worry about. It's going to be really tough for monsters to damage us. I'm going to throw this torch on the ground just as a backup in case I need it in the future. We're going to bank up everything we possibly can here. Cook up these seeds. Run over here. Take a look at our berry bushes, which don't appear to be completely bursting at the seams just yet, and that's weird considering how long it's been. You'd think they would have tiered up by now. But let me see if I can pick them. Now, I know that picking them in certain states, you end up depleting them. So if you pick them too early, I think you need to refertilize them. But it doesn't look like... It doesn't look like we've depleted our berry bushes. So there we are. We've got some food for our next day's adventures. And I'm making this a little bit longer because I haven't actually been able to spend as much time on videos as I would have liked to lately. I've had midterms, and they've just been blowing me up, so I haven't really been able to get behind a mic at all. But I'm back now, so here we are cooking up berries, having a good old merry time, just attempting to survive. And the sooner we leave Rumble Blankets, the better. Let's go ahead and take off here. And so now we have ample food supplies, we have brand new armor, we have a reasonably new spear. Let me see. No, we've got enough food. I think our food's fine. And so the quickest way to get down here, I think, is just to take the wormhole that's next to our base. If I remember properly, this one's going to bounce us up right next to those spider hives, which is exactly where we want to go. And actually, I just noticed that animation. His helmet flies off his head when he jumps down the hole. That's really cool. I like that. And as you can see, these spider dens are getting out of control down here. Things are just getting crazy. And we're going to have to kind of traipse across the swamp here, which, given how our last episode ended, is terrifying for me. So hopefully we can stay away from tentacles and keep ourselves from just getting wrecked. And it looks like my tentacle dodging skills are not so good. These spider webs just suck. God, running slow in a swamp is a disappointing situation. So now that we've... Oop, wrong thing. Now that we've made it over here, let's take a look around and make sure we aren't absolutely surrounded by swamp, because if this turns into a giant kind of swamp man adventure, I'm not sure that I am pleasantly prepared to take on something like that. So we're going to stick to the roads for just a moment and just try and clear out as much fog of war as possible. But it looks like we've got a pretty substantial amount of swamp down here. Getting myself a tentacle might be good. Oh, and I just got smacked. I am no good at this. I'm going to have to rememorize the rhythm here. So let's see if we can bait him back out and see if we can do this a little more effectively. Now, I am a little concerned for Chester's well-being. He's been hit a few times. He got stung by a bunch of bees. I don't really know how much damage it did. You have no effective way to really check his health. And so I've been more and more paranoid lately about whether Chester is going to survive or not. So maybe I'll just leave the tentacle spike alone for now. Our armor did absorb a lot of that damage, although our football helmet took a huge amount of damage, which is kind of disappointing. I was hoping the football helmet would hold up a little bit better, kind of like the log suit, but no such luck. Que sera, sera. Long story short, I think we're probably going to have to make a large supply of football helmets to keep our craniums protected, but oh well. pick these saplings over here while I'm looking around. And now I'm not exactly sure what interesting things await us in this little peninsula, but, well, hopefully it's not a peninsula. That would really be disappointing if this was a dead end, because if this turns out to be a dead end, I really have no clue where I should be headed. It's kind of, the new map generation system is confusing and cumbersome and generally just unpleasant, which fits with the game's aura. Now, I really don't want to travel across swamps. There we go, we'll smack him, and we'll see if we can get the rhythm in there. Oh, and he got me there. And I came back a little too quickly on that one. It's all good, though. We're memorizing the rhythm. So we've got our tentacle spike now, which is fantastic. I'm not going to take the monster meat because I really don't see any positive benefit in taking it. Our helmet and our log suit are holding out. Now, every time I try and come across a swamp, I've noticed that the tentacles seem to increase the longer I'm in the swamp. I don't know if that's an actual gameplay mechanic, but it does make me very, very nervous. So hopefully we don't end up spending the evening in a swamp. That would be really, really, really bad. Like, bad to the nth degree, where n is a huge number. So that would probably end poorly for me. So if I fail to find anything shortly, we'll probably just head back to this little green patch here and cut off the episode. There's a frog. I can smack him and get myself... What is that? It's a plant. Well, thank you. Thank you very much for that astute observation. That was a scientific observation. Now, yeah, it's getting late. I really don't want to end up... I don't want to end up spending the night in the swamp. So let's head east and hope that we can get out of here. And hopefully we're far enough away from the spider dens that nothing kind of... No creepy crawlies decide to visit us in the night. I would hate to die so soon into our journey. I'd really like to make this one above 100 days. Although, whatever happens, happens. I mean, there's really no way for me to guarantee that, especially since I like to live on the edge a little bit. So my name is Splattercat. Thank you for joining me in this, our next episode of our Let's Play of Don't Starve. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have any suggestions, throw them down in the comments. Be sure to answer our question from our first evening there, and I will see you guys next time. Take care out there.